What's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about DaBaby. Now, DaBaby has been in the news a lot lately, man. Ever since his inception into the hip-hop game, man. Dude has been surrounded with a lot of controversy, a lot of shootings, people getting beat up allegedly, a lot of people getting shot allegedly, a lot of mess, man, to be real with you. But DaBaby, he's, stood his test of time, and his career has persevered, we'll say, man. He's had hiccups, don't get me wrong, man. There was a major hiccup last year, which almost crippled his career, but he's tried to bounce back. Well, it looks like he's taken a couple steps back because another shooting has happened around DaBaby. Now, DaBaby he owns a property out in a place called Troutman, North Carolina. Now, allegedly, there was a shooting that took place at this property, which is a multi-million-dollar property, and it looks like one person was injured. Now, I don't know for sure if DaBaby was at fault or who was at fault in this situation, or even who the victim was in this situation. But since it's DaBaby and he's a superstar rapper, this story is getting a lot of attention, and it looks like a repeat situation. But before we break down the specifics, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, man, let's talk about this story about DaBaby and this shooting at his crib, man. This is wild, man. I mean, it's wild to see DaBaby in these situations a lot. But, man, let's talk about this news story. So there's a story from the Rolling Stone by way of Yahoo that I'm going to read. And the headline says this. It says, shooting at DaBaby's North Carolina home leaves one person injured. So it looks like there was a shooting that took place and one person got shot, or maybe they got injured in another way. But let's go through the story. Now, a shooting at DaBaby's home in North Carolina on Wednesday evening has left one victim with non-life-threatening injuries, according to local police. So it looks like one person had injuries, but they're non-life-threatening, which is a blessing, which is a good thing, right? Now, the story continues by saying this. It says officials were directed to the home of DaBaby, whose real name is Jonathan Kirk, around 7:45 p.m., responding to reports of a shooting. So it looks like they got reports that there was a shooting, and the police responded immediately. Now, when police arrived at the $2.3 million home in Troutman, North Carolina, only one person was injured and subsequently taken to a local medical facility. So it looks like the one person that was injured, they were immediately transported to a medical facility. And it looks like, man, that they're the person who has non-life-threatening injuries, right? But, given that it's a $2.3 million home, it's probably a really, really nice area, and, the response was going to be quick out there. This isn't your regular type of hip hop situation. You know what I mean? Now, it also says neither the shooter nor the victim has been named, but a Troutman Police Department spokesperson said the shooting was an isolated incident and there is no further threat to the community. So they're saying it was an isolated incident and there's no further threat to the community. So it seems like the person who was actually the shooter, or actually the person who got shot, was probably the threat in the situation. Like, they've already got it under wraps. You know what I mean? It's not like there's a shooter on the run or anything like that, is what I take from that, right? Now, neither the police department nor a rep for the rapper immediately replied to requests for comment on the shooting. Now, I gotta say this. Now, with DaBaby's past, and, a lot of the things that we've seen about him, let's be real. We even had Dave Chappelle talk about DaBaby and his history in a comedy sketch, right? In a comedy skit he did or whatever, right? Now, DaBaby's got to get a lot of rumors out there, and people are going to be like, oh, man, DaBaby, he done shot somebody. But based on this report, that might not even be the case. We don't know if DaBaby was the person who was shot. We don't know if DaBaby was the person who was the shooter. We don't know that as of now, as far as the official information, right? Now, the story goes on to say this. They say Kirk moved into this 11,000 square foot mansion back in December 2019, according to local reports. 11,000 square foot mansion? DaBaby is out here getting that money, man. That's what? And that was in December 2019. Now, his hype was in 2018, I believe, going into 2019. So it makes sense. $2.4 million mansion. He might even got it for less than that. You know what I mean? That might be what it is now. Now, the story continues by saying his arrival made a splash as within a year of living in the upscale neighborhood, he had racked up at least 30 calls to police. Okay, so that doesn't look good. So he's in this upscale neighborhood and he's already had 30 calls to the police since he's moved in the neighborhood. And they probably average one call a year, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe 2 calls a year. And it's right, So you have 30 calls. His neighbors probably can't stand him at this point, but you never know. Maybe they love him. Now, the story goes on to say that the complaints were over noise levels, arguments, and construction concerns. 14 calls alone were for Kirk's security alarms going off, according to the Charlotte Ledger. So it looks like 14 of those calls were due to his security alarms going off. So I don't know, maybe people were trying to break into his place and the security alarms kept going off. I don't know why that is, right? When a rapper gets a nice place and people find out it's his place, it's always like a target for robbers and people running up in his spot. Now, there's other stories out there about this incident that are saying it was an attempted home invasion. But I don't know that, so we're gonna go by what we can only read that's officially put out there by the police, right? Now, the story ends by saying these things. It says, the 30-year-old rapper who signed with Interscope Records in January 2019 was involved in a fatal shooting in November 2018. Kirk had been shopping with his partner and 2 young children at Walmart just outside of Charlotte when he claimed he was forced to defend himself when 19-year-old Jalen Craig allegedly brandished a weapon, shooting and killing the teen. Kirk served no jail time but was convicted of carrying a concealed weapon in June of 2019 and was sentenced to 12 months of probation. So it looks like he got probation for 12 months for that shooting incident. Now, he's currently facing 2 civil lawsuits for assault in California after a physical altercation at a bowling alley with Brandon Bills. Now, Brandon Bills being the brother of his baby's mama, you know what I mean? Danny Lay, right? The brother of his ex-girlfriend, Danny Lay, in February, right? So homeowner Gary Pagar is also suing the rapper for allegedly sucker punching him in December 2020. And I'm pretty sure I covered all these stories. This is the guy who actually rented a property to them, I believe, for a video shoot. But in the story, it says this. They said that they knocked out the 65-year-old's tooth, allegedly, after Kirk and his entourage allegedly broke terms of a rental agreement. So it looks like DaBaby's already got enough on his plate, man. He's got a lot going on. You know, being in the rap game and being a star ain't all what it's cracked up to be, it seems sometimes. Now, with this situation that's going down today, I don't know if it's any fault of DaBaby. And I said today, but really it took place last night. I don't know if he has any part to play in it. It's just it took place on his property, so that's why he's in the headlines right now. But DaBaby, I'm pretty sure, is trying to stay as far away from any more drama as he can take. And recently, he just dropped a new project with NBA YoungBoy, and is probably trying to plan shows and do things going into the summer. But who knows? But what do you guys think about this story? Do you think that, once again, we have DaBaby in a shooting situation, it just doesn't look good? Or do you feel that since it's at DaBaby's property, no matter what, anything that he has to deal with, if something goes awry, his name is going to be thrown out there? Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here. Peace.